we have the entire session on Deloitte profile here on Joiners. Today, we're going to talk about project management, one of the most interesting theme, and I'm so proud of this because the session will be engaging, and we will explore the essential responsibilities and skills that define a project manager. Marco Eleuteri is a manager in Deloitte, and Flavia Minozzi and Ahmad Ezzeddine, they are consultant, while with Dario, we have the possibility to explore all the job opportunities at Deloitte. Dario is part of the talent acquisition team, HR team, so we have possibility with Dario to explore job opportunities, but also doubts, curiosities, and your question, guys. So feel free to write them in the chat below. You have also the possibility to switch on your cameras and to activate your microphone to start a conversation with us in the second part of the session, because at the beginning we will have Marco, Ahmad, and Flavia's speeches. I think, I'm sure there are interactive speeches, so I can wait to see the slides. Marco, the stage is yours. So so we can start. We are 75 people now, but I think we are ready to start. And guys, if you want to activate your cameras, feel free. We are so happy to see your faces. Thank you, Marco.
Okay, thanks, Giuseppe. It is a truly pleasure to be here with you. And my name is Marco Eleuteri. I am manager of Deloitte from Italy. Ahmad, please start to present our presentation in order so we can see together the agenda of today's session related to project management. And let's start to talking to have a look together to the agenda. First of all, we have a brief welcome and an icebreaker activity to set, let me say, the tone for this session. After that, we have the occasion to dive into the fundamentals with Flavia of the project manager, where we will explore the core principle and practice of the foundation about an effective project management. Then we have the possibility to discover together the main difference between agile and waterfall methodology, highlighting, of course, their impact on the project management activities. Then with Ahmad, we will get to know Microsoft project. So we will introduce you this powerful, very powerful tool that helps project managers to plan, execute, and monitor their project efficiently. We will do that by a guided practical demo conducted by Ahmad. So we will have the opportunity to have a hands-on demonstration of where you will learn how to use Microsoft Project, its features, functionalities, and in a sort of real-world scenario. We prepared a sort of business case for you. Furthermore, as Giuseppe said, we have the possibility with our colleagues from HR to gain some information, insight about the recruiting process. And finally, we will have a Q&A session where you can ask any question you may have and get answer from us. So we have a lot to cover today. Let's make the most of this opportunity to learn and grow together. And if we go one slide, let me introduce very quickly ourselves. We are part of Deloitte Human Capital practice here in Italy. Specifically, we are working in the program management and major programs area. Our team, me, Ezzeddine, Flavia, and other guys are dedicated to supporting clients engaged in organizational and digital transformation. As Deloitte, as you know, we operate at global level, worldwide, especially in Europe, with a significant presence here in Italy and in the Nordic countries and in UK too. So allow me to introduce today's speaker. Apart from me, we have with us Ahmad Ezzeddine, is a consultant in our practice. Ahmad has a extensive experience in managing a large-scale project, ensuring a successful delivery for our client. And we have the opportunity to have with us Flavia Minozzi, that is a consultant in our practice. Flavia is specialized in project planning and execution, helping clients achieve all their strategic goals. So we are excited to share our knowledge and insight with you today, and it's a pleasure. So if we can go ahead for one slide. So we give you again the welcome to this session, and we thank you for your attention. And before diving into today's session, we want just to say that if you have any question or doubts, please feel free to write them in the chat, and we will be happy to clarify them. And I said as I said before, at the end of the meeting, we will have a dedicated Q&A session. So thank you. And let's get started, Giuseppe, with icebreaker, let me say.
Yes. So give me a second. I start my screen sharing. Okay, guys. You should see my screen, and feel free to scan this QR code on the left, or join on slido.com and enter the number you can see on the left. And so describe in one word what project management means to you. Efficiency. Good. First word. Organization, teamwork, communication. There is also a number. I think a mistake. Organization is bigger so far. Supervision, creation. Deadlines. Ahmad, I saw your smile when I said deadlines.
Too many deadlines.
What's your favorite, Marco?
My favorite is communication. It is a very important thing in project management world. And generally speaking, so thank you, first of all, thank you all for sharing your thoughts and the word on what so project management means to you. It's fascinating to see the diverse perspective and insight that you wrote. Some of you highlighted the importance of planning, organization, time management, teamwork, deadlines. So this varied viewpoint, let me say, underscore a sort of multifaceted nature of project management and how it integrates different skills and approach to achieve successful outcomes. Let's keep this idea and this word in mind as we delve deeper into today's session. So Giuseppe, it's okay for you. I leave the floors to Flavia, and we can start with this.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you, Marco.
Okay, I wait for the document so I can start. Okay, and the audience can follow me. Okay, thank you, Marco, for the floor. Thank you, Giuseppe, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Guys, girls, it's a pleasure to be there. We are really excited, like Deloitte Italy. As Marco said before, I'm a consultant in Deloitte Human Capital Practice. And thank you very much, because you inserted some important words about project management. It was not easy, but you inserted the interesting words, really. So the overview that Marco has just presented to you is fundamental, because it helps us to talk about those that are defined, the fundamentals in the slide that you can see. Then together, we will explore the two main methodologies of project management used to support complex projects. That's to say the agile and the waterfall one. So in general, we can say that in life and above all in an ever-changing business world, it's crucial to have effective methodologies to manage projects, ensuring that goals are achieved on time and within budget. For this reason, project management is a strategic approach which can help you to transform into realities your ideas, ensuring that each phase of the project is managed with care and precision. Considering that assumption, let's go through the key phases of project management. Its life cycle is essential for guiding successful projects, and it consists of 4 main phases, which we can commonly divide into 4 steps. That's to say the requirements gathering, planning, monitoring and control, and stakeholder update. These phases are also sometimes called in other ways like initiating, planning, executing, and closing, and they represent the heart of project management. So what about the first step, requirements gathering? During this phase, we have to define the client's objectives and requirements. So the scope of the project, the resources of the project, and the team that will be involved in the project to reach some specified goals. For this, just normally a business case is often written that highlights the project needs, the context, and then the solutions and the efforts to achieve what is expected. Once we have understood the needs of the client, we need to set up the activities for project management and collect some useful information for planning the tools. That's why here we come to the second step. That's to say the definition and planning. This is a phase in which we normally outline how to achieve projects by establishing budgets, milestones, times, and scopes, while assessing risks and setting some communication protocols with the client, which is essential to give him some update. And then what about the activities that we have to take place there? Well, the main stakeholders here are identified. We have to ensure an alignment and a support with the client. Then we have to establish some standards for an effective tracking of project results. And then we normally plan an opening meeting, which is commonly known as a kickoff meeting, just to have a look at the main requirements and needs of the client. You know, after planning comes execution, like everything in life. So we land on the third step, monitoring and control. Now, with the project underway, we need to constantly monitor its progress, ensuring it's aligned with the predefined goals we said before, right? So in that step, it's important to monitor the status of the project. We have to prepare and share some centralized reports about the ongoing and the completed activities. And then we have to organize and manage meetings to discuss about the milestones achieved and measure and evaluate some KPIs for effective project management. Only in this way, we arrive at the fourth and final step. That's to say the stakeholder update. During the final phase of the project plan is put into action. So here it's essential to support customers by sharing some best practice and evaluating the results of the initiatives that have been implemented. So basically you have to identify some factors of success and areas of improvement, communicate to the client the results and some lessons learned of the project, and generate some reports and documentation related to the closing project phase, summarizing what you did during the previous steps. Now, let's have a look at the main 2 PM methodologies by starting from their basic explanation. That's to say the Agile and the Waterfall. So the Agile is a flexible and an iterative approach that emphasizes collaboration and responsiveness to change, allowing for ongoing reassessment throughout the project. So in particular, the Agile methodology breaks project into smaller phases called iterations, facilitating rapid value delivery. Then it has a greater adaptability to frequently changing scope and needs, and it uses iterative or phased planning, so a continuous integration through the life of the project. That's why the key principle in agile project management methodology is to keep the project scope soft. And it's important to emphasize flexibility to meet project needs and rely on customer feedback. Considering the existing project types and complex projects like those we manage in Deloitte, that methodology is ideal for dynamic environments and continuous improvement initiatives. What about the waterfall? In contrast, waterfall is a sequential project management approach. It follows a linear and a structured process, which is characterized by a series of distinct phases, where each phase must be completed before moving to the next. So it's a methodology which works best for the projects with clearly defined requirements, needs, and strict deadlines. One of the words you wrote before. So looking at the main characteristics, we can say that the agile method ensures delivering maximum business value and the product and satisfaction. It's adaptive, so it's flexible. It's a flexible technique that can promote adaptability to changing requirements. Then agile method allows team to adapt quickly to changes, whether it's customer needs, market conditions, or contingencies in general. The scope of the project can change, so the technology is not so certain. On the contrary, it's uncertain. And then an agile team is a cross-functional group characterized. That's to say that normally you can find teams composed by people who demonstrate different skills, but different but necessary to reach some client needs and requirements. What about the waterfall, considering the characteristics? Well, waterfall has the characteristic to have a scope which is determined and fixed at the beginning of the project. Then it's, as I said before, a linear and a sequential approach. So it's predictive, which means the constraints defined in terms of time, scope, and costs are agreed upon in advance. Then it's a model which lacks overlapping among phases. So it's a model which recommends that new phase can start only after the completion of the previous one, as I said before. And then it's a method that sets distinct endpoints or goals for each phase of the development process. And here, teams are large, so they have a strict structure, and lots of the roles are different. So we can find analysts, testers, developers. So each team member is responsible for a certain stage of work. Now we can look at the benefits of the two methodologies. I hope, first of all, until now, I've given you a clear overview of the distinction between the two methodologies, because only in this way we can calmly arrive at the view of the benefits. Let's begin with the agile. Surely, one of the key advantages of the agile is to emphasize short-term deadlines, which encourages productivity and efficiency with teams. When team members are aware that they have a limited time frame to deliver results, it fosters a greater sense of urgency and focus, you know? Then agile offers a remarkable level of flexibility. It's a kind of adaptability which allows team to change a project direction continuously in response to new requirements and clients' needs. So it needs to have explore and innovative solutions. Another characteristic of the agile is that it's client-facing. So throughout the project, teams share the progress and actively incorporate feedback into the development process. On the other hand, we have the waterfall, which offer a different set of strengths, you know. So waterfall provides a concrete plan that outlines the project from start to finish. This level of detail is beneficial for projects with clearly defined outcomes, where every requirement is established early on. And by having a structured and a linear approach, the waterfall method can save time, as teams can clearly see the pathway to completion. And finally, the waterfall method requires that each phase of the project culminate in a precise and single deliverable that must be met before moving on to the next phase. So this is a structured workflow, that of the waterfall one, which brings clarity to the project, allowing teams to track constantly progress methodologically and avoid some scope creep. In summary, while waterfall is ideal for projects with clearly defined outcomes, offering a structured approach, Agile shines in environments where speed, adaptability, and iterative progress are always present, especially when the final vision of the project may evolve as it progresses. So as we consider which methodology to adopt, let us weigh the nature of the work, the needs of our client, and the dynamics of our teams, because by doing so, we can ensure that we select the best approach and method that will surely lead us to success. Thank you. Ahmad, I give you the floor.
Thank you, Flavia.
Thank you, Flavia. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Basically, I would like to thank Flavia for this very detailed approach over the project management methodologies, the main steps of project management. And that's why we are here also to discuss how to apply those theories, how to apply those methodologies, how can we put them into practice. Theory is beautiful, right? But once we get it, we have to do it. We have to take the theory and place it into practice. So basically, we're going to discuss here, we're going to show you how we can apply those theories in the real world. How can Microsoft Project help us apply those theories, and how can Microsoft Project help the project manager monitor, plan, execute, and have a successful project along the way. So basically, what is Microsoft Project? Microsoft Project is a software tool, and from the name, obviously, it's developed by Microsoft. So Microsoft Project is a software tool, and it's used by project managers to create schedules, project plans, manage resources, and keep monitoring the project, of course, and the time monitoring of the project. So, of course, as well, it helps us develop several charts that can help the project manager align the work of the project and the key deliverables and the milestones, such as Gantt charts, Kanban boards, project calendars, and also assigning the project tasks or key milestones to the project team. So in this way, we have defined and clear responsibilities and roles for every team member of the project, and everybody can know their role and what key or milestone or what subtask they should deliver. We're gonna please remember those two words, key milestones and subtasks, because they are gonna be the basis of our demo, and we're gonna show you what those two words mean and how we can develop a plan based on those two keywords. So why Microsoft Project, right? So of course there are many tools, project management tools. There are several ones, but of course each tool has its pros and cons. And as was Flavia explaining to you in the previous slides about the two approaches, two methodologies, let's say, the Agile one and the waterfall one. So basically, Agile has its preferred tools, and I don't know if you heard about it. So sometimes project managers tend to use Jira as their go-to tool in Agile projects, while in waterfall projects, the way to go most of the times is Microsoft Project. And also, as well, sometimes some project managers and some projects, we combine those two methodologies. Then we have the hybrid approach, which we use sometimes. We adopt the Agile methodology with the waterfall methodology, and we can have a hybrid approach. And also Microsoft Project is the go-to tool in this case as well. Personally, I use Microsoft Project. I'm on a couple projects, and I'm planning my projects based on Microsoft Project, and they help this tool helped me a lot in monitoring and planning my projects. So what are the pros and the cons? The pros of Microsoft Project, of course, in the corporate world, or let's say in the business world, Microsoft Office 365 is very popular, right? Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. They're very popular. So having Microsoft Project also is very well integrated with Office 365. It shares the same ecosystem, so the integration between those two can be very smooth and easy to use, especially if the company or the project or the product you're trying to do, or the company you're working for is using Office 365 as its go-to daily tasks. Also, Microsoft Project provides several templates. So these templates can be very helpful for us. For example, those templates can be used for, let's say, short-term projects to very, very complex projects. So the templates are ready. And of course, if the project manager doesn't agree with those templates or have some mixed feelings about them, they are free to use and create their own templates as well. They have this flexibility. So since it has lots of pros, let's also talk about the cons of Microsoft Project. Microsoft Project has a limited cloud functionality. What does that mean? Sometimes when you want to work on the browser version, such as the Outlook browser, Word browser, Microsoft PowerPoint browser, also you can do that using a Microsoft Project, and we're going to use the browser version today. But if you use the desktop version, it has much more complex tools that you can use. Also, Microsoft Project, sometimes it's complex to learn. So it's not hard to learn, but complex. That means you have to put some time and effort on it to just sit down, have some few hours to understand how does it work, how does it function, do some little simple sample projects on it, and then you can have a clear vision. But it needs some time and practice to be effort to put on it to have a clear understanding how to use it. And one of the drawbacks of Microsoft Project, it is not very collaborative by teams. What does that mean? That means that if your project is on Microsoft Project and your plan is on Microsoft Project, and you want to share this plan with other team members or other stakeholders, if they don't have Microsoft Project as a software downloaded and on their PC or their browser version, they cannot open the file. So this sometimes has some drawbacks because not all teams can access the plan and monitor how's the project advancing. Those are some of the cons and the pros. So now we're gonna try to put into practice what Flavia has been talking about the past 10-15 minutes by talking about what is the responsibility of a project manager, how can we apply those theories into practice using Microsoft Project, and how does Microsoft Project help us and helps project managers plan, monitor, and execute their projects. Before going on there, I was mentioning here, so the idea of this demo is to show how to put the theory into practice and also to outline the key components necessary in Microsoft Project to implement a certain plan or a project, the tools that are essential to use, and to apply the theoretical knowledge that we gained so far. Before going there, we need a business case, right? Because we need a project. So we have this business case for you. This business case, it's about a company. They want to develop a fitness, let's say, application. And this fitness application, it creates or it monitors their activities, goals, for example, their fitness goals, their activities during the day, also their exercises, that's number of sets that they do while they're exercising. So this is what the company wants to do. And this company wants to create this software app, and it wants to release it on both platforms, let's say iOS and Android, since they're the two most dominant app stores at the moment. But of course, with every project, it has its challenges, right? So one of the main challenges of this project is that we have a strict deadline, because we're speaking about deadlines, that this project has a tight budget and a tight deadline of 8 months only since we start. So, and one of the other challenges is that since I mentioned that this project should be on iOS and Android, we have a very complex environment here because we have to develop a product that is compatible on both softwares. So it's not an easy challenge. The other challenge is that Once we release a beta version, what is a beta version? Usually a beta version, it's the first released version. We send it out to the users to try it. We collect some feedback, try to understand how we can modify those feedbacks, how can we improve our app, and how can we make it ready for the final release. So basically, that's our plan. That's the business case that we have here. So we have to take this business case, we have to transform it into a project. And let's make sure, because a project is we should just keep in mind that a project is always has limited time. It has a specific start and a specific end of time. We cannot have a project that never ends. That's not the idea of project anymore. So that's why we have 8 months here to develop this app. So we're gonna go to Microsoft project here. I'm gonna move to the Microsoft project. Okay, so just let me share my screen. Okay, so basically, this is Microsoft Project by Deloitte. It's like I was mentioning, it is the browser version. I use it a lot, to be honest. It's very helpful. We're gonna go through it, try to see how can we develop a plan. I know we don't have much time to complete the plan, so we're gonna show you how we can develop few milestones and connect them to each other and see at the end how does a full plan looks like. So basically, what we start with, we can go with a new plan, basically. And you can see here the different templates that I've been talking about before, that Microsoft Project provides you different templates about the project that you want to plan, and also depending on the nature and the methodology of the project. For example, here we have a software development that's more agile. Here we have commercial construction that's more waterfall, because in the end, how can we know this is agile, this is waterfall? The software app, we don't have a clear scope. We have a iterative approach. We need to keep on developing to know what is the requirement to keep to reach the end goal. While the construction, we have a clear scope here. The scope here is that we have to build a building, right? So we start through level 1, 2, 3 until we reach the building. So the scope here is to construct a certain building, mall, tower, whatever. So in our project, we're gonna keep it simple for now because it's our first time using Microsoft Project. So we're gonna start with a normal plan as we have it here. So that's how it looks in the beginning, right? It's empty. There's columns here. There's add new task. So we have to start from here to develop a full functional plan. So first of all, we have to name it, because since a project manager can have multiple projects, we don't want confusions. And also stakeholders or team members, they should be very careful which documents they are reading. I'm gonna call it, for example, mobile app. Okay, and the start date is today. Let's consider that start date is today because we are starting today. And the finish, we have the finish date or the end date is 8 months. But let's say that it's going to be automatically put in. We're going to see how. Okay. So basically we have, just let me do this. Okay. So, but what we can see here is several columns, right? So what those columns refer to, also how can you modify these columns according to your needs is very important as well. For example, me as a project manager, I like to keep assigned to, because I'm gonna have here some tasks, I'm gonna place them, I'm gonna assign them to my team members and the project team, so I can know who's responsible and who's gonna be doing those tasks. We have the start date, finish date, and we have the duration. Basically, it is the amount of time between the start and the finish. It's automatically driven. Here, a bucket, you can remove it, you can add it. It depends on you. And here is the completion of the task. This is very important to monitor using daily stand-ups, using several meetings you do in the week with the project team to understand what is the status of each milestone. We have the priority, because each milestones can have different priorities from the others, which is very important. Some are very important and urgent priority. Some of them can have low priority. So it depends on the project, on the situation, on the communication with the stakeholders. And also me personally, I like to add few options here. You can add as much as you want. So me, I like to add the dependencies. So I can know in my project, which milestones depends on the other. So I can know if one has a problem, that I know that my plan is going to be affected here, right? So I have to take measures. I have to do some risk management to understand or to not let my plan being affected or crossing some tolerances here. So basically, we're going to start, as we mentioned, we're going to have an app, create an app. So we have to start with our planning, right? How do we create an app? How do we start from zero to reaching the application and to the market? So basically, as a project manager, and since you were also writing, what do you think of project management? I saw a lot of collaboration, teamwork. Also, Marco highlighted the importance of communication. So all of those three are very, 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 very important as a project manager and for the team and for the project to be successful. So as a project manager, you really have to communicate with your team. You really have to understand your stakeholders. You really have to understand the nature of the project, because this is very important for the project to be successful. So basically, the project manager is not out of this world and he knows everything, right? So he has to work very closely with the team members to understand what is the next steps, how do we plan, how do we have some risks, how we counter and mitigate those risks. So this is all done through collaboration. So let's assume here in this case that I've already talked with my team. I already had these initiating sessions with my team, and we were focusing on few milestones and how we're gonna start planning. So basically, the first milestone, let's say, it is project initiation, because for every project, it has to be initiated. We have to get the green light from the project board. Please start with the project. This is the project initiation. So this is our main milestone. Let's say it starts today. The end date, we don't know, because we have to see what are the tasks that we have to deliver to understand when the project initiation milestone or key milestone is done. So one of those tasks basically is the project charter. So what is a project charter? It is a document that we do it in the beginning, and this is approved by the stakeholders that this is the project that we're going to do. Those are the objectives, this is the budget, and this is how we're going to do it. This is usually called a project charter. So we can know that when the project charter is done, approval, let's say, we can officially initiate the project. So this is a subtask. So to make it clear, and to make it clear for myself as a project manager and for the other people looking at our project, we have to make sure that this is a subtask and it's related to project initiation. How can we do that? We can do that by clicking on the three dots on top and make a subtask. So as you can see here, the project initiation. Now, if you open it, we see the project charter approval. So this means that this is the key milestone, and these are the subtasks. So once we complete the subtasks, then the the key milestone is completed. So let's say here, this starts today. I talked with my team members and they told me the approval needs around 10 days. Let's say 10 days, it is here 7 days. See, we have the duration. It's the calculation between the start and the finish. So we can go, let's say on the 5th, this is 12. So basically, to complete the project charter approval, we have 10 days, starts on today, finishes on 3rd of December. And this is a very high priority, because without it, we cannot initiate the project. So you can see here that we have automatically the project initiation key milestone is already done on the 3rd of December, because as soon as the project subtask here for this milestone is done, then the key milestone is done. So this is very important. How can we move to the next phase? So after creating the initiation, we have another key milestone, which is the planning phase, which we're doing right now. Let's call it planning phase. So this is basically what we're doing right now. We're drawing our plan, and the planning phase, of course, includes a lot of communication with your team members to understand how the plan should go. So I talked with my engineers or my software developers who are going to develop this project, and they told me that the project plan, so we can, and the stakeholders, of course, we need two ways to complete the planning phase. We need to have the planning by understanding the budget, the scope, and the resources, estimating the resources, and we need the let's say the market research, because to have the market research, we need to have doing some research in the market to understand how can our app be very attractive to the user. So we need to do some sort of research. So those two key subtasks are essential to be done for our planning phase to be completed. So I go here, I write, for example, the project plan, which I'm doing right now. Let's say scope, budget, timeline as well. So this is one of the subtasks, and the other subtask is the market research. So those two are basically a subtask for the planning phase. So as we said, make a subtask, make a subtask. So you can see once those are completed, the key milestone is completed. So when do we start the planning? As soon as the initiation is approved. So we start, let's say it finishes on the 3rd, we get the approval on the 3rd of December, so we can start on the 4th. It needs 10 days. I'm the project manager. I estimate myself, my tasks need around 10 days to do so. So I go from 4, then it's gonna be, this is 11, we go, this is 10. The market research, I talked with the marketing team and the research team, they told me it needs around 15 days, and we start right after the initiation. So it starts, let's say, also after the initiation, the 3rd of December, it finishes, this is 16, 23, so this is 15 days. So automatically you can see the planning phase here finishes on the 23rd of December. So this is the little key milestones. If we go now, we can have a Gantt chart. If you go to the timeline, you can see that here in this case, we have the milestone, the key milestone, and those are the subtasks of the milestone. Now I know for these milestones to start, I need to have the approval here and here. So I'm connecting for those to start. I need the project charter to be approved. So if I go back, I'm connecting them. This is called FS, finish to start. If I go back to the grid, I can see the dependencies here. This means 2FS, you can see it, and here 4FS and 5FS. So basically this means once 2, the number here finishes, this one starts. When 2 finishes, this one starts. This is how we start creating dependencies between projects on the way to go to understand how our project plan is going to be affected. Now, I know where we don't have that much time to go through the complete plan because we're almost very short on time, but I can show you here, for example, if I go home and I'll show you the complete plan, if we want to develop it for the for the software app, you can see here are the different phases. It's the same way as I was showing you how I did it, but this includes the whole phases and the milestones and the task, the planning phase, the design phase, the development phase, testing phase, market phase, launch phase, and post phase. And you can see here exactly the subtasks that we need to do to achieve those phases. And in the end, the duration, and here how we can monitor when we start the project, we can monitor it, the importance and the priority of each phase. And here you can see the dependencies, like what should finish for what subtask to start. And we can have like a very high level overview of the timeline by showing you here, this is how it should look. So basically, these are the milestones and the key milestones. And you can see here, this is our Gantt chart that can help us, or the timeline chart that shows us each task, how much time does it take. This is a high level view when each objective finishes or each key milestone finishes, what is the other milestone to start, and our end date to go live with our product. So basically, I would love to stay and do the complete plan with you, but this needs hours, to be honest, to be done. So we try to give you a high level overview to how does a project manager thinks, how does he plan using Microsoft Project, why is it a powerful tool? Because you can see, we can monitor, we can check our project, we can monitor it through our status calls and understand its progress, how much the deadlines, and the importance, the priority through monitoring. And of course, we can monitor our plan to understand if one task has some delays, if one task has some issues that's going to affect our plan, and which part of our plan will be affected. So this daily tasks are done by the project manager to ensure that the project is smooth. And if there's any risks that are being raised, if any risks that are being highlighted, we can do our risk management approach to make sure to mitigate, or to, let's say, do our best to remove or eliminate or at least reduce the impact of those risks. So I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint, because I believe now Dario has few points to discuss.
Ahmad, sorry,
Yes.
Dario. Sorry for interrupt. Ahmad, I read a question in the chat
Of course.
because Lucia was asking, is it more challenging to have restrictions in time or in budget? What's your point of view?
A very nice question. Well, it depends. It depends on the context of the project. Sometimes we have a very tight budget that we cannot cross, so therefore we need to adjust the time compared to this budget. For example, for any project, we have to really focus on three aspects: time, quality, and cost. Right? So basically, the greater the quality, the more the budget, the more the time, right? Because we need to have a good quality. And the lower the quality, the lower the budget, the lower the time to produce this quality. So basically, Lucia, this really depends on the stakeholders. So you as a project manager, you talk to your stakeholders who are sponsors on this project. You try to understand what is their interest, and you try to provide them with the different scenarios, that if I need to have a good quality product, then I need to have a certain budget and a certain time. You need to give me some room. As part of this understanding and communication with the stakeholders, you can understand their priority, and from their priority, you would understand which one matters more, the time or the budget.
Thank you so much, Ahmad.
Of course.
Okay,
Thank you,
Dario,
Giuseppe,
it's your
for,
turn. Yes.
Thank you for interrupting us. If you want to also read a couple more questions, I think it's okay, because the presentation has been filled with a lot of information, and I think the priority maybe is to make this clear. So if you want to answer a couple more, for me it's okay. And then I can go and give you a brief overview on the recruiting process.
Sorry, Dario. I didn't hear what you said. I don't know
Sure.
if you was talking with me. Sorry.
Yeah, I was thanking you for moderating a couple of questions, and if you want, we can take maybe a couple more, so we can give more priority to the presentation of project management, because it was filled with a lot of information that maybe it isn't so easy to understand. So if
Yeah.
you want to take a couple more questions, for me, it's not a problem. And then
Perfect.
after
Thank
that, I
you.
can go
Yeah. Thank you so
with my
much,
part.
Dario. Yeah,
No
because
problem.
we have a lot of questions. So, for example, I read John's question that said, how do you manage unexpected changes that impact the schedule in the Gantt chart?
So basically, that's also a very common thing to happen, right? Because when we plan, that doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, because as soon as we start working, there is a lot of issues that can come up, a lot of problems that can come up that we wouldn't have predicted that would have happened while planning the plan. So basically, once we have our Gantt chart, our timelines, and we using our risk management approaches, we understand that there's going to be a risk affecting our Gantt chart. As a project manager, we start producing something called an exception plan. So we try to plan accordingly. How can we prevent this issue from happening? Or if it happened, we communicate it with our stakeholders and the project executives to understand that, okay, this impact happened, this issue happened, this is the solution to mitigate it. Do we have the green light to take it forward? Because we would have prepared the plan to readjust or replan our Gantt chart according to this risk that took place.
Perfect. Thank you, Ahmad. Anjum, sorry if it is not the correct pronunciation, Anjum. Is there a full training program? Because the session was so exciting, I think, Ahmad.
Training program. Well, basically, in project management, there's a lot of courses online that you can start understanding them, or they're very entry-level courses that once you take them, you can really develop your skills as a project manager if you're interested in the field. And using those entry-level courses, you would start growing as a project manager. You start learning what does a project manager does, and then you can go through very advanced certifications that can give you more credibility. But yeah, of course, if you go on Coursera, on Udemy, you can find lots of courses that can help you as a entry-level project manager to understand what does a project manager do, how does he do it, and to give you all the theoretical knowledge that you need to start.
Perfect. And Laura asked, can you roll up the projects to project portfolios, strategies, pillars, etc.?
I didn't hear the question.
Yeah,
Can you
can you roll up the projects to projects portfolios, strategies, pillars, etc.?
Roll up?
Yeah,
Is it
Laura?
correct?
Yeah,
Roll
can you
up?
roll up? Yeah.
But what does specifically she means by roll up here? So I can answer depending on what
Laura,
does she
if you
mean.
want, exactly. Yeah. Laura, if you want to better explain your question, please. You have also the possibility to activate your microphone. If you want, feel free to talk with us. Yes.
Oh, hi. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Laura.
Thank you for answering. Yes, what I was wondering if in the case of Microsoft project, you can roll up, for example, the cost or the timelines, the schedules to a higher structure, let's say a portfolio based on a part of the organization, or maybe a strategy, I don't know, increase the innovation, improve the production. If you can do that.
Now I get it. Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Laura,
you.
for your question. So basically, yes, you can do it. So basically, it depends on the organization and how it does conduct its projects, right? Because in larger organizations, for example, at Deloitte, we work our projects through program level, not project level. So we have a program that supports and many projects under one program. So basically what we do is that, especially with the budget forecasting, which you were mentioning, as a budget forecasting, we don't do it on Microsoft project. Well, you can do it, but we don't do it in Deloitte. We try to do it following the Deloitte PMO and structure, because it's part of one program. So what we can do is we can take the Microsoft project data and we can deliver it to the program or to the organization, to the business layer, to see how our project it is performing to their expectations and with our financial aspects as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
You're welcome, Laura. Jefferson. Good afternoon.
Hi, no, here is good morning. Hi, and Giuseppe. It's true. Is there really is?
Yeah.
No, well, casi 12. And I don't know. I have a question. How I create a project manager portfolio? I really don't know how wording this.
How do you become a project manager?
Well, yeah, I'm studying that in Coursera, Google Project Manager.
Okay, so basically a project manager can come from any background, right? You don't have to be specifically or you don't have to attend a certain program to become a project manager. So basically a project manager comes with experience, right? So what you can do is that you can take some project management certifications. There's a lot of very reliable, let's say, a beginning certification, such as Prince 2, a foundation, such as CAPM, which is provided by the Project Management Institute. So those certification and some Coursera, there's the Google Project Management, I believe, as well. It's a good start for a project manager. So once you have those skills and theories learned by those certifications, you can apply for positions or start in your firm to work as a junior project manager or assistant project manager. You start assisting the project manager, and after a few years and few projects, hopefully you start to grow and you start to have the confidence and the knowledge and the experience to take on some projects. But I believe there's no specific track. It's just that how much you can put the effort in improving yourself in those theories and the projects that you can support with, learn with while you were working, supporting another project manager. And then once you get that chance to really become your own project manager on a certain project, you can start applying those experience and knowledge and you start growing as a PM.
I manage digital transformation in companies, in really 3 companies, and that is really important. I managed to a creation of a branch, but I want to show that I can do that thing. So I don't know how to show it.
You want to show or gain the trust of others that you are able to handle it. That's what you mean? Or you want to show a way to make you the right option for the project manager position for certain projects?
I think, sorry for interrupting. Jefferson I think, is trying to say how can he show, or maybe a curriculum or something along those lines, that he managed maybe 3 projects for different companies,
Okay.
and how can he
that's
create
okay.
maybe something like a portfolio and so on. I can give you my opinion, then I leave it to Ahmad. Inside a curriculum that you give a company or an HR recruiter and so on, you can go and put it on your experiences. Maybe you worked for some company, or maybe you worked alone. You can go there and put that you manage the different projects from or for X company, W company. I'm inventing names, but you can go and put them on like a list and add some some key details about them. And then maybe HR recruiters will ask you about these projects and to explain how you manage that. Then about the portfolio, I'm not familiar with the project management, and I don't know if you can actually create one. But maybe Ahmad can give you an insight on that.
Yeah, that is. I really.
So I do agree with Dario here about the approach on the CV or the curriculum, and also just be sure to mention the achievements that you were able to achieve while managing those projects, because in the end, the project sponsor that wants you to hire you or to be on this project wants to see results, right? And you wants to see that you have the right leadership skills and the right skills to lead a certain group of team to achieve a certain project. So make sure to really focus on the key results that you were able to achieve in your previous engagements. What did you do? How did you achieve them? And some statistics like achieve 20%, 30%, budget less, budget more. So make sure to focus on results that can help you and can gain trust for this role.
Okay, I am in a good way. So, right, thanks.
It's good then.
Thank you, Jefferson.
Okay, Dario, if you want, we can.
Sure, I can go briefly around the recruiting part.
Yeah.
what am I about to say? It does apply to Italy, but Deloitte from all around the world are pretty similar. So you can find that maybe Deloitte Madrid from Spain or Deloitte Lisbon from Portugal act the same way. So the structure is very similar and the recruitment process can be too. So we can go ahead and show a couple of slides. On the left of your screen, you can see a diagram with which we try to explain very briefly what we look for in our ideal consultant. Regarding the hard skills, we usually ask for a bachelor degree or a master's degree, a good level of English, at least a B2. In this case, we ask also for Italian, but it depends on the country, of course. And we also consider very positively all the abroad experiences you have. Concerning soft skills, we look for people with analytical thinking, who can work great together and have a good communication skills. On the right, you can see how many steps we have inside of our recruitment process. Usually it starts with your application, followed by a call from our HR. Then you will receive, if you are the correct fit, you will receive 2 tests, one for English and one for logic. And if all goes good, you can have an actual interview with HR to test your soft skills. Then, if HR pass you through the next step, you will meet your line manager. This interview will be a more technical one. In case of project management, they will ask you questions on maybe Microsoft project or other tools, or maybe for other lines, they will ask you about different technical tools and so on. Then, if after all these steps, all this process, we manage to see you the correct fit for the company, you can expect Deloitte to make you an offer, usually, and usually the whole process lasts around 3 or 4 weeks, from step 1 to step 5. Go on, Ahmad. This is more similar to all the Deloittes around the world and also the corporate world that involves the Big Four. And it's our career path. As you can see, we are divided into grades, starting from analyst and all the way up to partner. Your growth inside the company is influenced by your performance and is tied to your area's need. But first, for the first grades, you can expect a relatively fast transition that is usually grade increased every couple of years. Notice also how at the beginning, technical skills and training are very important, while leadership capabilities are fundamental once you reach the grade of manager and going up. One thing I like to add is that we care a lot about your technical training, and inside Deloitte you will have a lot of great opportunities to study, to develop your personal skills, and so you can reach Deloitte with a background, like Ahmad said, that is covers a lot of different tools, maybe some learning you did on different platforms like YouTube courses, university, and so on. But also Deloitte will give you the opportunity to acquire different how do I call them, the different training, certified training. I got the word, and so on. So also clients from all Italy, all Europe, and so on, depending on which country you are based, can see that you got some certifications and can assess that you can be efficient on different projects and using different tools and thematics. So on the recruitment part, it's over. If you want to ask questions and maybe if there's more time, I'm available. If not, you can also reach me out on LinkedIn. You can see my name. It's Dario Passerini. And thank you to everyone, both on the joiner side and on the Deloitte side, for the amazing presentation.
Thank you, Dario. And John, yes, in a while I will be to you. I just want to say that I shared the link to the position, to the open positions in Deloitte. They are for junior profiles. You can open just the positions that really interest and that are really in line with your ambitions. John, it's up to you.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate this. I'm gonna say fast class about project management. And Dario, thank you so much for this opportunity talking about human resource, which is your expertise. I got a question. Well, a few questions. Probably going to be involved in just one question. Look, for example, I got the language skill. I got the professional experience. I got the education background. And for some reasons, for example, if I apply to Deloitte, what the recruiters see that you see this person is not gonna be able to work with us, to not receive even one call from your department. You know, even though with all this experience, with all this education background, project management skills, certification in project management, what that doesn't happen? So probably that's my main question. Even though, you know, for example, I speak English, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, certification, project management, education background, university in the United States, and you know, everything. So you, Dario, as an analyst in this department, tell me what's not gonna allow to you to call me, not me, you know, as an example for everyone. It's just my main question.
Of course. What I can tell you is that even if you have a very good and very interesting background, maybe you are just being unlucky, because there's many factors. Of course, the main point is you, but you can be the perfect fit and still don't get a call from Deloitte or other companies, because a lot of companies in the recent times, more so, they can have hiring freezes. They can have really a lot of how can I say it? Things that goes to impact your recruiting process. So if you're not being called by Deloitte and maybe another company or so, it's not just your fault. Maybe it's just not the correct time. I know from person point of view, not just an employee, that it can be frustrating, that maybe you think you have all you need to join a company and still you aren't getting called, you aren't going on the recruitment steps and so on. But living inside a company like this, it can really change from a day to another. So maybe one day there's 5 open positions for a project management, and the other day these positions are getting filled because maybe 100 other candidates applied, or maybe management said, well, right now we don't need any more people because there's a budget need that needs to be allocated somewhere else, or maybe just because inside Deloitte some people got moved to another area. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong on this side. So what I'm suggesting is to keep improving your skills, to maybe do an overview of your curriculum. Maybe you're not communicating really well what you know and why you are capable of being a good project manager. And don't stop trying. It's been hard for me also getting into Deloitte, getting into other jobs, but it's not, unfortunately, not really all 100% up to you. So what you can do is improve on what you can manage.
Just saying because I did everything of those, many of those things. You know, I hired someone to check it out my CV, and many of those. One of those experts told me, you know, I don't see many things to improve in your CV right now, and I changed the the steps that my CV is showing up, because probably it's going to TMS. I don't know if you manage or not the TMS in order to find some good candidates for your company. But for example, I worked as a global manager, expert managers, and that's my expertise, right? So I work overseas and in the United States, South and Latin, and in Europe. And one of the main things that I see myself as for example, I want to work for Deloitte. It's a great company. It's a dream for many people. Okay, and I expecting to find a company like Deloitte that tell me, hey, it doesn't matter if I going through the senior position, right? The most important is to start with a stable company, a great company that gave the chances that you are talking now to go step by step in order to go through another positions in the future. But even though with that experience, if I apply to lower position, Deloitte is seeing this, but they say probably this guy is overqualified for this. It happens as well.
There's the thing. Maybe you can be overqualified for some positions. It's not really correct from some point of views, but maybe you have an expertise that inside of Deloitte, how can I say, career path, it's good for be a senior consultant, a manager, and so on. But maybe for manager positions and so, there's no space. Maybe there's space for consultants, but in this case, there's the option of being overqualified. And in this case, it's not, how can I say, it's not also healthy for you to apply to a very low positions, and because maybe you have certain expectations that the company can't meet, because maybe a greater salary, maybe not just that, of course, but maybe greater opportunities, managing certain projects, responsibilities, and so on. So if Deloitte can't guarantee you that you will have maybe some things that you require for your experience and your expertise, they prefer to go on with less qualified candidates, but that are the more correct fit for that position in specific. It's really a hard topic for me to talk about this, because as I said before, there's many things that can go wrong, but there's a lot of variabilities. And if you have a great curriculum, the correct one, we don't use software, so you don't have to adapt maybe keywords and so on. It's just that in that precise moment, Deloitte is not looking for a profile like yours for maybe that position.
John, Thank you for your question. Thank you for your focus on this topic,
Also,
Dario. Thank
good
you,
luck
Dario. Thank
on
you for
your
your
work recently.
answers.
No problem.
I don't know if you saw other questions in the chat. Ahmad, Flavia, Marco. I saw that Flavia answered
I
to a lot of
answered.
people. Thank you, Flavia, for your work.
You're welcome. Okay.
And for example, Mosope with the last
Hi.
question. Hi.
Hi.
How are you guys? Thank you so much for your time today and for, all the great knowledge and tips and tricks that you've given. I really appreciate it. Let me turn my camera on. Sorry, I'm outside in the US on my lunch break right now. Hi. I kind of just wanted to piggyback off the last question. I'm a recruiter myself, so I understand a little bit about, it's not personal sometimes, your application just doesn't get put in front of that person. When you're networking, I don't know if anybody would have insight to this. Sometimes people reach out to you on LinkedIn and things like that to kind of make a small introduction, learn about their position in the company. What would you suggest, whether it be talking to a recruiter from Deloitte or somebody on a team that you would want to be on who the team is hiring? How would you best approach networking with that person online, asking them, maybe to kind of, if there's eyes they can put your information in front of, and things of that nature?
Okay.
You can
I
type
think
Dario on LinkedIn for sure.
that's really effective. I can say that writing online on LinkedIn to people that work in a position you like or for a company you like, it's always a correct thing to do. Of course, many people won't even answer you, but there's always someone that is it can, maybe you can get a meeting also with them, and they really enjoy maybe talking about their job. If, of course, this happens a lot when a person is really enjoying his job and his company. If I'm, for example, if I hate Deloitte, I won't tell you to come. But if I enjoy being here, maybe I'm more available towards maybe giving you the opportunity to have a meet, even asking for your CV and giving it to the recruiting line. Why not? I even speak to people on LinkedIn because I was interested. I work for employer branding, which is not really recruiting, but it's similar because we work on the attraction side. We don't do recruitment, but maybe campaigns, webinars like this one, and so on. I often ask people from maybe Italian companies that, I give you an example, Lamborghini. I often speak with a girl that is working for the employer branding of Lamborghini, because she gives me really a lot of insights on how they manage employer branding inside Lamborghini. Not that I want to go work for Lamborghini. That is a really nice company and treats its employees well. But just to know more of what I can do, what can I improve on my side of the job, and so on. So writing on LinkedIn, it's always a good thing to do. It's a social network, and it's there to be used. So this is one piece of advice. Then, if you maybe go networking on live events, there's a lot. Maybe I figure on the US will be the same of Italy, maybe more. You can find there a lot of people. Maybe one are more funny than others, but what can you do about that? You can always ask a lot of questions, get a lot of answers, and maybe get some connections. Because if I know Giuseppe, maybe in a networking event, we have a kind of feeling. We talk about our work. you can also approach them, this person on LinkedIn, and told them, oh, do you remember about me? We talked about employer branding thematics. What about your job? And so on. So this is also a good method to hook people, like you are fishing for them, but also to improve your skills and your career opportunities, because why not?
Thank you, Moza, for your question. Thank you, Dario. As I said, as I wrote in the chat, you could use LinkedIn for the connections and joiners for the application. And Ajahn said, good combo. Yeah, it could be a good combo. Dario, Ahmad, Flavia, Marco, thank you so much for your speeches. Thank you for having brought us in the heart of Deloitte, in the center of your company. And I hope to see you soon here on Joiners, maybe in the next month.
You're welcome, Giuseppe. Thanks to you, and thanks also to Marco's team, Ahmad and Flavia.
Thank you, Dario,
Everyone.
Giuseppe, everyone. Thank you for your attention.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
And have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.